Hello everyone, hope you guys are off to a great start. Looking at your comments now on Facebook. All right, so taking a look at what's happening right now, we do have a few storms that have developed. They're mainly to the north of us, way north of our area, but going ahead and taking a look at least one of the storms that has developed, we are seeing at least one isolated thunderstorm, which has started to move across I-10 here. So go ahead and go zoom in. It's over right now Helotes, Timberwood Park, and we are seeing at least a few lightning strikes associated with that. We're also now looking at a tornado watch that is in place, and going ahead and taking a look at the counties that it's over. Right now, it's throughout Kyle, Austin, Johnson City, Marble Falls, and Georgetown. So we are looking at least 5 counties that it's over. And again, that's a tornado watch. Right now, it is not in the San Antonio viewing area. It is over the Austin viewing area, right along I-35 there. But a watch just means that the conditions are in place, that we could see a tornado warning going into effect at some point into the evening. So they are under a higher right now risk than us for severe thunderstorms to develop and severe weather, but we are going to follow along this closely. We're also looking at a severe thunderstorm warning that's right now in place. That is, again, way to the north of us over Brady, as well as Brownwood. But taking a look closer at what's happening right now for us here in the San Antonio area. Right now, again, just a few isolated thunderstorms have developed. That's over Helotes, Castroville, right along 410 there, and over right now, you can see heading into Bernie, Timberwood Park, about to cross 281. So they are heading to the northeast. No warned thunderstorms for us as of right now. We are just looking. Hi, Melissa. Thank you guys so much for joining in. So if you have any questions, comments, you can just put them in the chat and I'll see them as they pop up. So we do know that there is at least one isolated thunderstorm. Again, no watches and warnings for us in place right now. The only watch that is in place is to the northeast of us, right along I-35, heading over into Kyle. So going ahead and taking a look at what is happening, our chance for severe weather today. Again, Austin, where that tornado watch is in place, they're under a level 3 out of 5 risk. So they're under a higher risk than us. They're in the orange. Here in the San Antonio area, throughout even the Hill Country and throughout the Rio Grande, we are under a level 2 out of 5. So what we're looking at here were the areas in yellow. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So Austin right now, you can see just partially under that level 3 out of 5, and then mostly in the yellow. So throughout New Braunfels, and here in Bexar County, and then into Hondo, under a level 2 out of 5. So we do have that low risk for severe weather. The best chance that we're seeing today for severe weather will be for hail development. So going ahead and taking a look at that. And the timing of this is a little bit ironic because it is also the anniversary of the most expensive hailstorm in Texas history that happened in the state in 2016. So we are looking at the chance for hail today with the system. Brianna said, I'm right on the yellow and green line. And then someone said, where is the storm moving towards? If anybody is curious about what we're looking at, this right now, our severe outlook gives us a pretty good idea of what's going on. We are looking at the system pushing in. We have a dry line that's right now passing over Del Rio. Let me get an arrow going for you guys to give us a better explainer, a little pointer, I guess. So right now there's a dry line that's moving right along Del Rio, and it's going to continue to push in and gain strength as it starts to move across Bexar County. And that's why we're seeing these storms. They're continuing to develop right over here, and then they're strengthening as they move through Bexar County, San Antonio, and Austin, and up to the north of us into Waco. They're seeing the better chance for that severe threat to develop. That's why they see that right now tornado watch that is in place. Whereas here, I'm just going to go back to our radar, and that's why we're only starting to see just a few isolated thunderstorms popping up because they're gaining strength as they continue to push to the northeast, following along I-35 there. So going ahead and looking at our hail threat for today, again, we're at a level 2 out of 5 if you're in Bexar County into Hondo, and then the lower risk for severe weather, just a marginal, level 1 out of 5, that is going to be right along I-35 over the Rio Grande. So with the hail threat, the best chance is going to be for the areas in red. That's over Austin. Here we go. Now I can control this. Should be able to. All right, here we go. So Austin right now, they're under the areas in red. They have the best chance for hail development, but it's definitely possible that we could see some. We have about a 15% chance here in Bexar County, again into Hondo, over Pleasanton. We're the areas in yellow, so 15% chance for hail development. And then if you're in the areas in green, Uvalde, Eagle Pass, Cotulla, these are the areas that are under the lowest 5% risk for hail development. Because again, as we've said, and I'll bring up my pointer again for anybody who has just joined, we are looking at these storms, the dry line passing through Eagle Pass, Uvalde. That's going to be the dry line. Those storms starting to develop, starting out really, really small and isolated, and then they're going to continue to strengthen as they head closer to I-35 and really gaining strength up near Austin. So that's where we're going to see really those severe storms starting to develop. Sorry about that. Little stutter came out. Now, taking a look at our severe threats for today, this is what we just talked about, but this breaks it down, makes it really easy to understand what our risks are. The chance for any thunderstorms to develop really started about 12 o'clock today, but it has continued and will continue into about 8 p.m. We're now really starting to see those storms fuel up and develop. Really should start to see some activity around 5 and 6. But the best risk is going to be for hail development. Again, best risk is going to be closer to Austin, but if you're along I-35, Bexar County, we are seeing about a 15% chance for that hail development. Damaging winds also very possible. We've already been dealing with very strong wind gusts over the last several weeks, and even today, about 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts, but they could become strong to even severe as we head into some of those thunderstorms starting to develop. The lowest risk is going to be for any tornado development. It's not zero, it is about a 5% risk, but it is the lowest risk. Again, that tornado watch is in place. That's up near Austin. So if you have any family over there near Austin, Kyle, Texas, just any of those areas along I-35 outside of New Braunfels, there is that tornado watch in place. And if you guys remember, tornado watch just means that the conditions are there, that we could see development. So we are watching that closely for the potential for any development to happen. So I'm reading through your guys' comments right now. So if I'm looking down like that, that's what I'm doing. I have my phone in front of me so I can read the Facebook Live comments as they're coming in. A lot of people just want to talk about that timing again. If you're just joining in, again, yes, we're going to go over the HER in just a minute. Actually, we'll just jump into that right now. So the HER model isn't showing much development, but we can actually go through a few models, show you guys what Bill and I have been talking about. Paul is actually out storm chasing right now, so you're going to get to see him if you're watching the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 6 o'clock. They're out, and then I'm handling the digital stuff. But what we've been talking about with the HER, it's not showing a ton of development for us. It's really just showing what we've been talking about, and I'm going to zoom in a bit here. I'm just going to go inside of this graphic here, and that'll allow me to kind of zoom in a little bit more. All right, so this is the HER model that we're looking at right now, and the timeline that we're seeing, 4 o'clock where we're at right now, and it's doing a really good job of showing those very isolated cells developing, very small and not much development until they start to get up towards Austin. That's right along I-35 heading up into Waco, and that's about 7 o'clock. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. 4 o'clock, good job of what's developing right now. Just a few of those very isolated storms, a few lightning strikes developing. About 5 o'clock, might see a few more. But that line of storms really develops nicely right along I-35 with the HER model, right throughout Austin into Waco. And again, Austin, Waco, they have the better chance for storm development. Just because of where we're at with that dry line, we are not necessarily seeing the same threat for severe weather development like they are. So that takes us into 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you can see 7:30, just following along I-35, and then just continuing to push out into the evening. So the end of that threat for us really is about 8 o'clock. The better chance for development is going to be about 5, 6, 7, and then by 8 o'clock, really looking at everything moving out. But if you guys would like to see a different model, there's another model that is showing much more development. Here, let's go to a different model that we've also looked at. So we've also been looking at the NAM model, and it's also just showing very little development. It does show a little bit more for us, shows a little bit more of those isolated storms firing up in San Antonio. But again, the best chance is going to be over Austin, I-35 up into Waco as the storms continue to push to the northeast. So personally, I'm leaning more towards the HER model, where it's not showing that necessarily intense development, but we're really going to be seeing how this plays out in the next about half hour, because again, 5 to 6 o'clock is really when we're expecting more of that development to happen. So taking a look at our severe checklist here. So for any severe weather to develop, what that would mean is that wind gusts would be over 59 miles per hour, quarter-size hail or larger. And what we are looking at right now as far as our current wind gusts is going to be, right now, again, we've been dealing with the strong gusty wind all day, but right now we are looking at about 15, even 20 mile per hour wind gusts, 20 miles clocking in right now in New Braunfels. So we have seen that throughout the entire day. And just taking a quick look at what's happening on our radar, we are still seeing, again, that tornado watch that's in place over, oh wow, they've extended it now. It's all the way crossing into 45, so that has just happened then. But you can see where the storms are really developing now, heading towards Waco, and I'll zoom in on this a little bit. That's in Hamilton, Evans, Adamsville, and I am not going to try and pronounce some of these storm names. Sorry guys, I'm still a little bit new to Texas, but that is where the better chance for severe weather is happening. Again, just where we're at with the dry line, we're not necessarily seeing that same development, but we are at least seeing a few isolated storm cells producing some good rainfall there over Fair Oaks Ranch. They're going to be crossing 281 here in the next couple of minutes. And actually, we will take a look at those. None of them have been warned, but we are looking at those crossing 281 here in the next couple of minutes. So a few lightning strikes associated with them, starting to kind of die off a little bit, but we are expecting a little bit more development as we head into about the next hour or so. Okay, so I was just reading through your guys' comments. And so just once again, what we're looking at here, taking a look out, we're seeing a few more thunderstorms. There's at least one isolated thunderstorm that's developed right now, right in the 1604 loop, that's now heading towards Helotes. That is 151 there that it's just starting to cross, moving into Leon Valley. So that's a new one that's just developed. A few of these storms are starting to, we're seeing one over Bandera, one heading into Kerrville. So a little bit of development here that is happening. These are the same storms here over New Braunfels and right around that 1604 loop that we've been following, but now seeing a few more popping up into the hill country, into Kerrville there. So that's what we have been following. Again, that tornado watch that's right now in place over Austin, Kyle, Texas. Let me zoom in on these few of these. Georgetown, Johnson City, and Marble Falls. And they have now expanded that tornado watch so that it is all the way over into I-45 there. For everybody asking, there have been a lot of people. I want to say somebody had asked about Del Rio. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to scroll through everybody's comments here. If you are in close to the Rio Grande, Eagle Pass, Del Rio area, that's where we're looking at the lowest chance for any rainfall just because of where that dry line is falling. Unfortunately, the storms aren't really starting to develop until we're closer to about Kerrville there, and that's what we're seeing right now. Rock Springs, let me zoom in on this area so I can give you your town names. I know I'm going to say this wrong, I'm sorry, Leaky, Campwood, Utopia, but crossing 83 and then 39 there, heading into Kerrville, that's where we're starting to see at least a little bit of rainfall. But again, we're not looking at any widespread rainfall. The storms that are developing are very isolated. So what that means is they're just going to be these little storm cells that are going to continue to strengthen as they head up closer to I-35, moving to the northeast. They're really just starting to develop with that dry line, heading over Del Rio, Campwood, Eagle Pass. So very little rainfall is expected. And even with these isolated storms, nothing widespread. If you're in northwest San Antonio, you might be getting some heavy rainfall, but they're just going to be quick downpours. So it could be raining there for about 5-10 minutes and then be dry in your neighborhood throughout the rest of the evening. I'm seeing some models extended the tornado watch out our way, San Antonio, Texas. Oh, they did just extend that now. It is over. It was over Johnson City before, so it is just outside of New Braunfels. That is where they originally had it in place. So San Marcos has that in place, 281 into Johnson City. We have a very low risk for any tornado development, about a 5%. Again, that's not zero, but it is a lower chance. The better chance is starting really similar to what happened, was it about 2-3 weeks ago, when we saw that tornado outbreak that happened over Austin. It really just started right outside of the San Antonio viewing area, heading up towards Kyle. So right outside of New Braunfels is where we started to see that tornado development last time, and that's kind of the same pattern that we're seeing today, where the better chance for us is going to be hail, which is very typical for our area. But as we heading to the northeast up along I-35, that's where the better chance for any, I just clicked out of the Facebook Live, sorry y'all. But as we head, as the storms continue to move up I-35 and they gain strength and they fuel up, that's where the better chance for any tornadoes will be. And I'll go through the threats again if you guys are just joining. What we're looking at here is going to be lower chance for any isolated tornado development, some large hail there, and then damaging winds, all possible. So that's going to be until about 8 o'clock tonight. Our hail threat, the better chance is going to be if you're in Bexar County, right into I-35 here. Let's scroll in a little bit. All right, people keep asking, any hail in San Antonio? Not yet. Hail has not been reported in San Antonio yet. Taking a quick look at I'll take a quick look at the radar again so you guys can see what's happening, because I know a lot of you are just joining and continuing to join. So what we're looking at with the radar, right now we are just seeing few isolated thunderstorms that have developed, and those are continuing to move up I-35 here, and we're actually starting to see them diminish a little bit, dying out. Not really seeing the lightning strikes associated with them that we were seeing earlier, but we have not seen any hail development yet. And taking a look at where the Storm Prediction Center has issued the best risk for hail, that is going to be throughout, right now, the best chance is going to be the areas in red, and that is Austin, and heading up into here. Let me play this for a second. We can zoom in. The areas in red, that's where the Storm Prediction Center has put a 30% risk for hail development. That's over Marble Falls, Georgetown, Rockdale, Lott, Gatesville, Waco. But we are in the areas in yellow, so that's going to be Bexar County, Bandera, Kerrville, Johnson City, Kyle, New Braunfels, Seguin, and then Pleasanton. And then if you are in the areas that are in green, that's the lowest 5% chance. So that's Hondo all the way down to Eagle Pass, Crystal City, Mathis here, Alice, Beeville. So I'm going to scroll out a little bit so we can get that expanded view. If you are anywhere in the Rio Grande area, a little bit south of Bexar County, you are in the lower risk for any hail development. And again, the setup with this system, really, I'll bring up the SPC. Oh, that's interesting, Matthew. Thank you for letting us know. Somebody asked, what is the severe risk for Hondo? So it depends on where you're at. Right now, what we're looking at, right along 90 here, you can see that at least part of the county is under that yellow level 2 risk, and the other half of the county, if you're in the western half, they're under the low marginal risk. So could see some hail development, really similar to what happened just a few days ago, Sunday, where we saw some of that hail developing with these isolated showers. But to just explain the setup of the thunderstorm one more time, what we're looking at here, I'll pull out the pointer for us. The dry line is moving over Del Rio. So right where we're seeing that light green, what that's doing, that's the dry line pushing in, and those storms will start to develop there, very small isolated storms, but then they'll gain strength as they continue to push to the northeast, which is what's happening right now. So northwest San Antonio is starting to see these small thunderstorms which have developed. They might produce some lightning, some thunderstorms, even a little bit of hail, but they're really gaining strength as they continue to move up I-35 closer to Austin and Waco, where there's a better chance now for those strong thunderstorms to develop, and we do have that tornado watch in place for those counties. So I'll pull up the radar one more time. Our 4:30 show, our 4 o'clock show has just ended now that it's 4:30. So we'll be back on at 5, and again, Bill and Paul are on the air. Paul is actually out storm chasing for us today, so if there's any action, you'll get to see Paul handling that, and I'll be doing digital updates. So I'm just going to take the radar full screen and go regroup for a few minutes, talk to Bill. He'll be out here sooner at some point today too. But of course, we're going to keep you updated on all platforms, whether digital, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, the KENS 5 app, and of course on KENS 5, and KENS5.com. So we're going to keep you updated as we head into this event, letting you know if anything develops, any watches or warnings go into place, and what you can expect in your area. I'm going to go full screen with the radar for a little bit, but we'll be back probably in the next 20 minutes. So I will see you guys then.